Hello everyone, my name is May Venkat Kumar. I am studying CHCB second year. My roll number is 106118056. In this video, I would like to discuss about TLS SSL handshake. We all can agree that internet has become a very inevitable part in our day-to-day life. A day without browser is not at all possible. For example, whenever we like to search for a website, we type the URL of the website in the address bar and the browser just shows up the website. Is everything so simple? Definitely not. The browser does a lot of stuff behind the scenes just for you to make things very simple for you. It does implement a lot of protocols over different protocol layers in order to satisfy different goals. Each protocol has its own motive which is different from the other. One of them is this TLS SSL handshake protocol. As the name suggests, this protocol is all about coming to an agreement between two parties just before they start communicating. In this scenario, one is the client, the other is the server. The client is just your web browser, let it be Chrome or Mozilla or Opera or anything else. The server is just a computer connected to the internet serving the website which you would like to view. So before directly jumping into this topic, I would like to talk about a few other topics which might come in handy for understanding about this handshake protocol. HTTP. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This protocol runs in application layer and the main motive of this protocol is to provide flexibility and simplicity to the communication between server and the client. Whenever you type the URL in the address bar, the server responds. The server might be running in PHP, Node.js, Django or any other stack the web developer prefers. To make things easier for the client browser, whatever the stack server works on, they all work over this HTTP protocol, which is very simple and universal. Currently there are three versions of HTTP versions available: HTTP 1, HTTP 1.1 and HTTP 2. HTTP 1.1 is an advanced version of HTTP version 1. HTTP 1.1 can handle multiple requests with a single connection itself. And HTTP version 2 is an even more advanced version of HTTP version 1.1. HTTP version 2 ensures a lower latency between the servers and client communication by reducing the size of each and every packet sent to the server from the client. This is done using binary framing of each and every packet. HTTP is a very interesting protocol. But even HTTP has got its own drawbacks. HTTP does nothing in order to ensure the security between the client and server's communication. We all know that internet is not a point-to-point communication. When a client sends a request in the form of packets, it goes through different routers and different nodes before reaching the actual destination. What if an anonymous user connected to a particular router and he intercepts the packet sent by you? Analyze those packets and retrieve information like your passwords, your bank details, your bank cards, and misuse them. We definitely don't take any kind of risk in our security. So this is where HTTPS comes into action. HTTP stands for HTTP and S for security. HTTPS is just a simple protocol which works over HTTP and SSL. SSL stands for Secure Socket Layers. SSL implements encryption, which is a cryptographic procedure of converting a plain text into ciphertext. Say here you have an important information or data and it goes through the encryption process. Encryption process takes two inputs. One is this data and the other is a random string. And the output of this process is a random string which is a ciphertext which has this information. As discussed earlier, the main scenario which we were concerned about was like what if an anonymous user captures the packet sent by you. So when you encrypt this particular plain text into a particular ciphertext, and if anyone got this ciphertext, no one can retrieve any kind of data from this. To retrieve this data from the ciphertext back to this plain text, you need this original random string which we gave it to the function initially. So the process of converting this plain text to this ciphertext is called as encryption, and the process of retrieving plain text from the ciphertext is called as decryption. Two different kinds of encryptions are available. One is called as symmetric encryption and the other is called as asymmetric encryption. Let's see about symmetric encryption. So when I was talking about encryption functions, I told that an encryption function requires two inputs. One is a plain text which is later then converted into a ciphertext with the help of random string which is also known as a key. Key is just a simple string. Let's just say consider a hello one and I have this very simple data here. And I encrypt this data into a ciphertext using this key. And I need the same string here for decrypting the ciphertext and retrieving the data here. What if there is a mismatch between the decryption key as well as the encryption key? Here's the catch. If I encrypt on a particular plain text using hello one and we encrypt this plain text and we get a particular ciphertext, and we use this decryption algorithm in order to retrieve the data using the different key, for example hello2, the data which we retrieve from a decryption will not match with the data which is given to the encryption function. I know this cryptographic terms like encryption and decryption might be very new to a lot of viewers. So I have coded a simple program in order to illustrate this encryption and decryptions to all of you in a simple manner. I have written this code in PHP. So here is the PHP code which I have used to implement this symmetric encryption. OpenSSL encrypt is a PHP inbuilt function which is used to implement this kind of encryption algorithms. The two major important inputs I would like to concentrate here is the simple string, which is the data which you would like to convert it into a ciphertext, and there is the encryption key. Encryption key, or otherwise a symmetric key in this scenario. The other inputs, they just vary according to the platforms whichever you are using. Like PHP requires this kind of input, this kind of parameters, and it varies from Python or other languages. I have used an advanced encryption suite here, which is a 128 bits based encryption algorithm. So let's go to the execution part. So it asks for a message which needs to be encrypted here. So let's say, for example, hello from client. So this is the actual message which will be sent from the client to the server. So as I discussed before, what happens if an anonymous user captures this particular ciphertext? He definitely cannot get any useful information from this cipher text unless he has this symmetric secret key. This key is very important and needs to be secured properly. So let's try to decrypt the file back to this original message. So this decryption code has this OpenSSL decrypt function, which is a PHP inbuilt function, which has again two important inputs. One is this encrypted message or the ciphertext, and the other is the decryption key. As I mentioned earlier, this decryption key and the encryption key has to be the exact same thing. As I showed you in the previous code, encrypt.php has the symmetric key as the encryption key. The same key has been used here as the decryption key. So let's execute this code and let's check whether the output message is same as the plain text which we gave into the encrypt.php code. Hello from client is the exact message which we use for encryption algorithm. Let's talk about asymmetric encryption. In symmetric encryption, we noted that the key used for encryption and the key used for decryption was exact same. But in asymmetric encryption, the things are very interesting. The key which you use for encryption is also known as public key. When you encrypt this plain text into a ciphertext, you use this public key, and for decryption you use completely a different key which is also known as private key. After encryption, this public key is useless for decryption process. They're totally different. Let's see a demo code which I have written in order to understand this asymmetric encryption algorithm in a better manner. OpenSSL is an inbuilt tool in Linux which you can use it to generate private and public key pairs. So I'm using this right now. Now I need to generate a public key which can match with this private key. This is the command. In this command you can say we are mentioning the algorithm, RS algorithm. So we have this private key as well as public key here. Let's look at the private key right now. This is the private key which is 2048 bits bit longer, and the public key for the corresponding private key is this one. So as you can see, the private key and the public key are totally different, unlike in symmetric key which are exactly same. And I have written this encrypt function, encrypt PHP file. So this gets an input from the command line, and it converts this plain text into a ciphertext using the public key. As you can see here, I have used this OpenSSL public encrypt, which is an inbuilt PHP function. It has got two important inputs. One is the simple string which you are going to convert into a ciphertext, and the public key which you are going to use in order to do the encryption. This encryption variable stores the encrypted messages here, and later I am then using this variable in order to save those ciphertext back into the file. So let's try executing this encrypt function. So let's, like in the previous example, let the string be hello from client. So as you can see here, this is a cipher text which is generated from this hello from client using this public key. As you can see, in a symmetric encryption algorithm, the ciphertext generated was very small. But then in this scenario, it is very longer, because for a very standard RSA encryption algorithm, recently we used 2048 bit string long keys. So that's why the string which we got from the encryption is also quite longer when compared to the symmetric encryption. I have stored this ciphertext in this file. Now let's try to decrypt this ciphertext back into the message which you have. As you can see, this code, it has a private key which is read from a file, which I have read from the file private key, which has the key which I have generated using OpenSSL. And OpenSSL private and decrypt function is a default PHP function which has got three inputs. One is this encrypted message, and the other is a private key. This decryption variable stores the whatever the plain text retrieved from the encrypted ciphertext. Let's try executing this decrypt PHP. As you can see, we have got this allow from client message which was encrypted initially using the encrypt.php. Now let's come back to the topic, TLS SSL handshake protocol. TLS SSL handshake protocol uses both symmetric as well as asymmetric encryption. Why both? Why cannot we use either asymmetric encryption or symmetric encryption? Both asymmetric encryption and symmetric encryption has got their own disadvantages and advantages. Let's look at what are those. Symmetric encryption, as I gave you an example, AES algorithm, it had only 128-bit string longer key. Smaller key means the functions and the storage space which is required for this encryption and as well as the decryption process is very less. So this means like when you have a very huge amount of data to be encrypted or decrypted at the same time, the latency in the communication between the client and the server is very less when compared to the asymmetric encryption. Because key is like very longer compared to the symmetric keys, they are computationally very intensive, so it takes a very long time for encryption and decryption algorithms. The major disadvantage of the symmetric key is that key management. Like even if one of those encryption or the decryption, since the encryption and decryption key is the same thing, if someone has compromised those keys or it has been leaked, the total system is compromised. So like even if the client who just needs to encrypt those messages loses the key, anyone can act as a server and intercept your packets and decrypt the message from those encrypted packets. This cannot happen with asymmetric. When you lose your public key of a server, whatever the message you are encrypting with the public key, still they cannot be decrypted back to the messages which you wanted to deliver it to the server. That's the main advantage of asymmetric key. Now let's look at this benchmark code which I have written. I have written this code in a PHP. As you can see here, I have used this encryption decryption function over in a particular loop of 10,000 times. Here is the symmetric encryption function, and later I have used this asymmetric encryption function here. I have used both encryption as well as the decryption function because client-server communication is a two-way communication, as we know. So the latency depends on both encryption as well as decryption functions. So I have already generated this public key and private key used for this private asymmetric encryption. So let's directly execute this benchmark code here. As you can see here, symmetric encryption has only taken 24 microseconds, but then whereas asymmetric encryption has taken 11 seconds, which is quite exponential when compared to the symmetric encryption. This is why in a modern TLS SSL handshake protocol, we use both symmetric as well as asymmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption takes care of the time efficiency and reduces the latency between the communication, and asymmetric encryption takes care of the security, which involves proper distribution of the symmetric keys in client and server communication methodology. So with that knowledge, let us see how this SSL TLS handshake protocol works. SSL TLS handshake protocol works with 7 step-by-step processes, beginning with the client sending the server a message called as client hello message. Client hello is just a terminology used for this step 1. Actually, it has 3 important datas along with this client hello message. For example, this is a message client hello message sent by a browser to the particular server. So it has the version which is supported by the browser, TLS version 1.2, and other important thing is this cipher suite which is an array of all the algorithms which the browser can support. As you can see, AES is a very famous symmetric algorithm. The next step is response to this client hello message, server hello. This server hello message has four important things. One is the cryptographic algorithm agreement. As we saw here, the cipher suite had a different set of algorithms which is supported by the client's browser. So now the server has to choose any one of the algorithms from here and sends back to the client, agreeing that this is the algorithm which they are going to use for symmetric encryption and decryption. And second is the session ID, which is allocated by the server to the client. This ID is very unique in order to maintain a unique session connection between this client and the server. And third important thing is that server sends a digital certificate belonging to the server, which is used to uniquely identify the server. Digital certificate is nothing but a highly valuable file which has a few contents which can identify the server with its IP address as well as DNS naming. And fourth is the server's public key. The server sends the public key to the client in order to start up a communication in which the symmetric keys can be exchanged. Why do we need this? Because we can client and server can just communicate over symmetric encryption which is time efficient. But still, when the client is trying to send the symmetric encryption to the server, anyone can still intercept those packets and retrieve those symmetric keys, and they can tamper this communication between the client and server, which we definitely don't want. That's why we want to start things with this asymmetric encryption, where this client can encrypt any message that the server needs to receive using the public key, so that whatever the message the client is sending, only this particular server can retrieve the data using its private key. Now let us look at how a server hello message might look. So as we know, the server hello message initially has the TLS version which can be supported by the server. And the other important thing which we need to note is this cipher suite. Cipher suite denotes the encryption which can be supported by the server, and it is selected from the list of encryption sent by the client hello message here. This RSA with the AES 128 bit sync key algorithm is being chosen by the server in this case. And it has also got a digital certificate, which is a very huge file. Third step of TLS SSL handshake is very important. As we know, in the previous step, the server has sent a server hello message which had a digital certificate. Digital certificate has few contents which can authorize a particular server, prove its identification using a third party organization known as a certificate authority. Now we all know the communication is going to be in between the client and the server. Why do we need a third party? Does it make any sense? To understand this particular case, we need to think of a hypothetical situation, which is also known as man in the middle attack concept. In order to understand this man in the middle attack concept, let us consider a particular scenario in which we have three people: Ali, Ahmed, and man. Ali be a client, Ahmed be a server, and man be a third user or a hacker in this scenario. So TLS SSL handshake begins with Ahmed sending his public key to Ali. But what happens if man tampers the packet sent by Ahmed to Ali with his own public key and removing Ahmed's public key? So Ali thinks that the public key received by him is from Ahmed, but we all know that the key is sent by man. So whatever the data he is encrypting using this public key can only read by man. Ali uses this public key and he encrypts the symmetric key generated by him using this public key and sends to Ahmed, which again can be intercepted by man, and he takes the symmetric key. Suppose say Ali sends his password or any other important details like bank card details encrypting using the symmetric key. Man can also read those encrypted messages using the symmetric key. As a result, man not only gains access to secure information but also modify whatever messages he wants Ahmed to receive by using Ahmed's public key. This situation can be prevented using digital certifications. What if a man, in this case, the man has its own certificate authority to sign his own digital certificate and his own public key, so that when the client receives those particular pair of digital certificate and public key, still they would be successful because the certificate authority is itself controlled by the man, the third person itself. In order to avoid such situations, there are particular certificate authorities known as the root CAs. These root CAs are most authorized and the most trusted certificate authorities by a particular browser. So even though you have a self-signed certificates, self-signed certificates are those certificates which are signed by yourself using your own server instead of a third party. In this scenario, your browser won't allow you or won't recommend you to access those websites and it blocks you by default. Let us look at an example of what happens if a website has its own self-signed SSL certificate. As you can see here, see the browser is trying to warn you, like this certificate authority is invalid because this certificate is self-signed by the same server itself, and the server does not has any chain with any of root CAs. Now let us look at step 4. In step 3, the client has authorized the server's identification. Since it has got the correct public key of the server, now it generates a particular symmetric key which can be used by both client and the server, and it uses the algorithm which is agreed upon in this step 2 server hello message. Now after generating the symmetric key, it encrypts using this public key of the server, and the client sends this encrypted ciphertext to the server. Now using the same secret symmetric key encryption method, client now sends a finished message in order to acknowledge that the client has finished all the steps needed for a TLS SSL handshake. This message is encrypted using the symmetric key which was generated in the previous step here, and this message is received by the server. And now after the server receives the symmetric key as well as the message which is encrypted using the symmetric key, and it tries to decrypt the message from the symmetric key and sends back the message back to the client. If the message sent by the client and the server is exactly the same, the TLS SSL handshake procedure is very successful. If not, tries to establish this connection again. After the proper exchange of the symmetric keys between the client and server, use as usual the HTTP protocol. It can take place using the symmetric key encryption. The message can be encrypted between a client and a server using the common symmetric key which is generated by the client. We can be very sure that the client and the server are the only parties with this symmetric key. Hence the communication between the client and server is secured. And that's it everyone. I hope this session was very useful. I have uploaded my code base in github.com. I have left the link in description. If you feel anything could be improved or if you would like to add anything, please feel free to send your pull request. I will check it. Thank you once again.